Okay, looking at the news, we have another full page this week. All right, starting on Tuesday, nothing on Monday, but on Tuesday, the 1st of August, we have the interest rate will be coming out on the Australian dollar, and it's projected that the Central Bank of Australia will raise the interest rate by 25 basis points following the US's recent move last week with the FOMC. And then a couple of items on the US economy later in the evening, Asian time. And then New Zealand, very, very early in Asia, employment change. Then on Thursday, we have the typical unemployment claims from the US, a very important one. But earlier in the day, before that, we have the pound interest rate, and they are also projected to follow the US interest rate move by increasing the interest rate on the pound 25 basis points. And then, of course, on Friday, this is the first Friday of the month. So what do we always have in the first Friday of every month? Non-farm employment change. All right, so it's going to be another exciting week with the news. Keep your eyes on forexfactory.com. These are Asian times you see here. If you live in Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, all of these apply to you. But if you live outside of Asia, be sure and check forexfactory.com for your local time zones. Starting off our review of last week's trade setups with gold, it was a pretty amazing week with gold. It started off not doing very much, a little bit up, a little bit down, and then made a good move up midweek until Thursday. And that was when we had so much good news coming out on the U.S. economy. There were 5 or 6 different data items that were released, and it was all very, very good. And if you had been watching the news, you could have gone short. And this is a 4-hour candle here. It dropped 350 pips. Now, generally, the news is fairly risky to trade, but in this case, it was a no-brainer. I mean, all of the news was very, very good. The actual for each item was much more than forecast. So the news being that good, gold just sank like a brick, 350 pips. I hope you were able to take advantage of that trade. Looking at the Euro-US as we continue our review of last week's trades, this one unfortunately missed the pending order by 1 pip, only 1 pip. The pending order was at 1.1150, and the high for the Euro-US was 1.1149. However, this was when the news came out, so if you were watching, you could have gone short on the Euro-US when you saw all of that good news come out on the US economy and got a total of 205 pips by Friday morning. The pound New Zealand, we did not take a trade on that. The odd US was another good one. We had a sell limit on that one. It went up a little bit the wrong direction, but did not hit the stop loss. And then finally, with that good news on the US economy, got a total of 115 pips on the odd US. The New Zealand US chart looks almost exactly the same, not quite as many pips, but a total of 78 pips on the New Zealand US. The pound US, unfortunately, went the wrong direction early in the week and would have hit your stop loss right about in here. But if you, again, if you'd been watching the news, everything was going bearish against the US dollar, and the pound right up from when the news came out down to the next day, Friday morning, was a total of 230 pips. But this one, based on our pending order, would have hit the stop loss, going the wrong direction midweek. The USD CAD was very shaky during the week. We had a buy limit on this at 1.3185. It went the wrong direction, but did not hit the stop loss, and came up, went the right direction. You could have closed this out midweek with a bit of profit there around 55, 60 pips. Or if you hung on to that, even then when the news came out, okay, right in here on Thursday, the news came out and it went back up again. So you could have actually made 2 trades on this one. On Wednesday, taking your profit there, and then just relax and wait for the news to come out, and then it shot up again with the good news that we saw on the US economy, and closing on Friday with a total gain of 66 pips. The Euro CAD never got anywhere near our pending order. The USD JPY is an interesting one. You could have got 91 pips on Tuesday, the second day after the pending order, And then if you'd closed that trade, it started to go the wrong direction. But then when the news came out, it did recover and went up a little bit. But the best trade on this one was early in the week on Tuesday to close that one out with 91 pips. And then you see what happened here. We say, well, there was so much good news on the U.S. economy, and yes, it did go up. But then what happened here? Look at these, this big red candle and this big red candle here. At midnight on Thursday, there was midnight in Asia. There was some very good news on the JPY. And so that devastated the US dollar JPY currency. But as is so typical with the JPY, this was just a knee-jerk reaction. On Friday, the very next day, it closed exactly where it started before the news came out on the JPY. So the US dollar continues to be bullish. It was bearish because of this news on the JPY, good news on the JPY, which caused this devastating crash overnight, and then it recovered on Friday. So you'll see in the new trade setups that I have with you, I am bullish on the USD JPY. So now looking at the gold for the trade setups, the pending orders that I have in place for this upcoming week. No pending order on gold. It is bullish on the D1 chart, the day chart. It is bearish on the H4 chart. And I'm expecting to see continuing strengthening of the US dollar. So what we've seen so far is that big drop, which I mentioned earlier, on gold on Thursday because of the good news on the US economy. And then typical, you will get a recovery, a correction. And it came up to our strong resistance zone there of 1960. That's been support before. Support becomes resistance. That's it. Couldn't close above 1960. Went up a little bit, came back down, and closed right around 1960 at 1959. So that's strong resistance there. And I'm expecting to see gold continue to drop. And the first level of support is 1950. And if it goes below that, then we'll be looking at an even lower level of 1932. But the trade to watch for is a move down of gold from 1960 and the move down to 1950, which is a very strong, a long existing support level for gold at 1950. But if we can break below that, then we're likely to continue on to 1932. So for some clear pending orders, I do have a sell order on the Euro US, and the entry price is 1.1020. And the pound New Zealand, I'm still leaving that one alone. You can see on the chart here, it is just trading sideways, and it's so difficult to make any good trades on a range moving currency pair unless you're scalping. Odd US, I have a sell limit on that. Entry price 0.6690. The New Zealand US, I have a sell limit on that at 0.6175. The pound US, a sell limit at 1.2850. The USD CAD, as I mentioned to you, I am bullish on the US dollar for this week. It is neutral on the D1 chart, but turning bullish, and it's already bullish on the H4 chart. So the USD CAD, generally I will say when it's neutral on the day chart, no trade. All right, but if you take a small trade, a small long trade, take a buy trade on the USD CAD, a small trade, and if it continues to move in the right direction, then you can add to the winning trade. The Euro CAD, sell. Okay, it has started to turn bearish, and just take a sell trade on the Euro CAD on market open on Monday. And the USD JPY, buy. Okay, forget about all of this news that came out on the JPY late Thursday night, and that continuing move down early Friday morning, but then a clear recovery on Friday during the London session and during the US session, and we should see continuing bullish movement with the USD JPY. So just buy the USD JPY.